Welcome my students, welcome to my today's topic and welcome to my today's lesson. Already we have learned the basic terms of QBasic in the previous video. Today we will learn decision making and looping in QBasic. Okay. So in a QBasic program, the statements are executed by the computer from beginning to end, but you can change the order of execution of the statements. Okay, for this you can use decision making statements and looping. Okay, so a statement that decides the order of execution of the other statements is known as the decision making statement. Okay, so such statements are based on the specified condition, hence they are also known as the conditional statements. Okay, there are three types of decision making statements. One is go to statement, number two is if then statement, and number three is if then else statement. Okay, so we will learn all these statements one by one. Go to the next slide. Now the first statement is go to statement. This statement is used to transfer the program control from one statement to another. Okay, so when the computer reads the go to statement, it transfers the control to that particular line number and the other lines are ignored, that means will not be executed. Here the term line numbers means the numbers are used when control of the program is to be shifted to a different section. In other case, QBasic understands and executes the program correctly even if there are no line numbers. Okay, so here is the syntax of go to statement. At first you have to write down the go to statement, then you have to write the line number, okay, where you want to transfer the control. Okay, got it? Go to the next. Now it is if then statement. The if then statement is one way decision making statement that checks a condition and executes the statement after then. Okay, after then if the result of the condition is true. Okay, so syntax is below. If, then you have to put the condition, and if the condition is satisfied or true, then statement will be printed. Okay, will be executed. Okay, so now we are taking one simple example to understand if then statement. So the program is to check whether a number is positive. Okay, so we are starting the program. At first we are writing CLS. We know CLS means clear the screen. We are writing it properly. CLS means clear the screen. Okay, and we have to check a number here. So at first we have to take the number from the user, so we can use let or input statement. Okay, but here we will not use the let statement, we will use input statement here, because we will take the input from the user at the runtime or black screen, on the black screen. So CLS, then write input. Okay, INPUT, input, and then inside the double quote write enter the number NO. Okay, and you want to store this number in a variable, so the variable name a capital A. Okay, got it? That means the number whatever we enter on the black screen, okay, variable A will store this value. Okay, now the second part is the condition part. Here it is, if a greater than 0, this is the condition. If the value of a greater than 0, then you have to write the statement, then print the number is positive, the number is positive. Okay, then double quote. Okay, and then at last you have to use end keyword, as already we have discussed. Okay, so we know for if then statement we have to use if then condition, and then after then we have to write down the statement to be executed. So if the condition is satisfied or true, then the statement will be printed on the black screen. So here the condition is if a greater than 0, that means if the value of a whatever we have give it is greater than 0, then and only then it will execute the line the number is positive. Okay, if the number is not greater than 0, then the then part will not be executed. Okay, so here if this condition is satisfied, then this part will be executed or printed. Okay, go to the next. Now the next part is if then else statement. The if then else statement is a two-way decision making statement. Okay, so here is the difference between if then statement and if then else statement. In if then statement we are using one-way decision making statement. Okay, so if the condition is true, then it executes the statement, but if then statement is a two-way decision making statement. Okay, it is used to decide the result when the condition is true or false. The if section contains the condition that is to be checked. The then section contains the statements to be executed if the condition is true. The else statement to be executed if the condition is false. Okay, so both the statements will depend on this condition. Okay, so here in this statement, if this condition is satisfied, that means it is true. Okay, then this part will be executed. If this condition is not satisfied, then this part will be executed. Okay, it is the syntax of this statement. Okay, so let us understand the use of the if then statement, if then else statement with the help of some programs. So the first program is program to find greater of two numbers. Okay, so what will be the first statement? That is CLS, to clear the screen. Then here it is, the program is to find out the greater of two numbers. That means we have to take two numbers from the user first. So I am using input statement, and then we can write enter first number. Okay, then double quote and comma. Okay, and then you are storing the value in a variable. Okay, and same for another number, you are taking input enter the second number, and we are storing this value inside B. Okay, now we are checking if A greater than B, this is the condition. If A greater than B, then print A is greater. Okay, A is greater, double inverted, then else print B is greater, okay, and then at last we have to use end statement. Okay, so here we are writing input statement two times, one time for variable a, another for b variable, okay, and then we are trying to check the condition. If condition is if greater than b, okay, that means if the value we have entered for a is greater than b, then print a is greater, okay. If a is not greater, then this part will be executed, print b is greater, okay, got it. So this was if then else statement, okay. So we are taking another example to give you the better understanding. The next part is program to find out if a person is eligible to vote, okay. So for that question we have to check the age of the voter, okay, got it. So if the age of the voter is greater than 18, then he or she is eligible to vote, okay. So now try to write the program. At first we are writing CLS as usual to clear the screen, then we are taking the age, so input and then enter your age, okay, and we are storing this value in the variable b, okay, because we know we have to use the variable after comma, okay. Then check the condition. If b greater than equal to 18, then print you are eligible to vote, okay, and then else part, else else print not eligible, and then the next part, that is else part, print not eligible, and then end. Already we have learned about it, we have to use end, okay. So in this example, look at very carefully, you are entering the age of the voter, so we are using input statement and we are storing the value inside the variable b, and then we are checking the age. Here b greater than, if b greater than equal to 18, that means if the age is greater than equal to 18, then print you are eligible to vote, you are eligible to vote. If b, that means the value of b is not greater than or equal to 18, then the next part, that means else part, will be executed. So here else part is print not eligible, okay. So if you enter the value for b less than 18, then the else part will be executed and on the black screen not eligible will be printed, okay, got it. I think it is clear to you. Go to the next. So if a set of statements is repeatedly executed is called looping. Okay, so a loop is created in a program to perform repetitive tasks until a certain condition is fulfilled. QBasic consists of three types of looping statements. One is for next, another one is do loop, and inside the do loop we will have two types of do loop. One is do while loop, another one is do loop while, and the last looping statement is while and w end looping part. Okay. Okay. So now let's start. At first, for next loop. This is the most common type of loop in QBasic. This loop is used when we know the exact number of times the loop has to be executed. Okay, and the syntax is here. You have to write first for, and then I equal to initial value. We have to put the initial value from where you have to start, and then 2, and after 2 you have to put final value, the last value. Okay, here I is the counter variable known as the counter variable. Okay, then executable statements in between that here, and then next I. Okay, that means increment variable, that means counter variable. The default increment value of the counter variable is 1. Okay, so here look at the structure of for next loop. The for statement is placed at the beginning of a loop and the next statement at the end. Okay, got it? So for next loop you have to start with for, and at last you have to use next statement. Okay, here it is, and at last next part is. Number 2 is the for statement uses counter variable having an initial numeric value and a final numeric number, that is initial value and final value. The counter variable controls the number of times the loop is executed. Okay, the first time the loop is executed, the counter variable takes the initial value. Okay, number 3 point is that the final value controls the end of the looping process. When the counter variable exceeds the final value, the loop is terminated. The computer then executes the statement immediately after the next statement. Okay, now the next statement is used to signal the end of the loop. That means it indicates that the program ends here or the loop ends here, and it also increase or decrease the counter variable and then transfer the control to the for statement to compare with the final value. Okay, got it? And the last point is the statements that are executed for a specific number of times are written between for and next statement. Okay, for and next statement, that means executable statements will be in between for statement and next statement. Okay, these statements make the body of the loop, so this part is known as the body of the loop. Okay, now let us understand with a simple example. Suppose we have to write down the program to print an asterisk in each one of the 10 rows. Okay, that means we have to print 10 asterisks in each one of 10 rows, like that way. Okay, so now look at, if we want to write the program, we'll start like that way, the condition, for then counter variable, that is I. Okay, so now look at the figure. Here asterisk sign starts from the number 1. Yes, so the question is we have to print the asterisk in each one of the 10 rows. So how many rows are there? 10 rows. Okay, so total number of rows is 10. Okay, so we have to start from 1 and we will have to go for 10. Okay, so what will be the first number for counter variable? That is 1. Yes or no? Okay, and write 2 and then the final number, that means the total number. Here it is 10, so we have to write here 10. Got it? So we are writing for I equal to 1 to 10 because we have to print 10 rows. Okay, then the next line is print okay. So for this condition, what should we print? We have to print each one of the 10 rows what? Asterisk. So in between double quote you have to put the sign here, asterisk. Okay, and then write next part, next statement, and then I. Okay, because we know we have to put the next part here. Okay, and we know what it does, it increase or decrease the counter variable and transfer the control to the first statement to compare with the final value. Okay, now we will check this program like that way. So for I equal to 1 to 10, print asterisk and then next I. Okay, so what it does, at first computer comes to this line. Okay, reads this line, then it will read that for I equal to 1 to 10, that means 1 is the initial value and 10 is the final value, print asterisk. So for row number 1 it will print the asterisk. Okay, then come to the next statement, this statement, that is next I. Next I means what is the value of I here? 1. So what will be the value now? Next I means the value will be incremented by 1. So now the value of I here is 2. So when the value is incremented or decremented here, this value will go here, this statement, in this statement, and then it will check again for okay for 2 to 10. So this value is now the new value of I here. Okay, okay, I here. So the value of I now is 2. Okay, that means it is second row. So here it is for I equal to 2 to 10, print star, that means in the row, second row, it will print again asterisk. Okay, again come to this statement, next I. So again the value will be incremented because next I means the value will be incremented by 1. So now the value of I will be 3 and this value will be passed to the first sentence. Okay, where the I will be, so where the value of I will be 3. Okay, so that means again for third row you should third row asterisk will be printed like that way. So it will run for row number 1 to row number 10 like that way. Okay, Like that way it will print the asterisk in each one of the 10 rows. Okay, one by one. Okay, now the second program we are taking, that is program to print the first 10 natural numbers. So we know first 10 natural numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. Okay, so to write the program, already we know that how to write the structure of for next loop. Here it is for, and then you have to write down I, that is the counter variable, and you should write first the start value. Here start value is 1, so write 1, then 2, and what is the final value, that is 10, so we have to write 10. So it will run from 1 to 10 for the value of I 1 to 10. Okay, now the second line will be print I. Why? Because here I is holding the value from 1 to 10. Okay, that means the value is stored in this variable, that means I variable. So we are printing print I. Okay, that means we are printing the variable, printing the value of the variable I here. Okay, then we are writing next I. Okay, so if we write this, what will happen? For I equal to 1 to 10, it will print I, that means 1 I. Okay, now when computer reads the first line for I 1 equal to 1 and print I, then the value of I is 1, so it will print 1. Then come to the line, this line, that is next I. So the value of I here at the first time is 1. When it will get the line next I, that means the value of I will be incremented by 1. That means now the value of I is 2. Okay, so now it will print the value of I. Now the value of is 2, so it will print this line, that means it will print 2. Then again come to this line, here it is next I, that means again the last value will be incremented by 1, so here the value will be 3. So again this value will be passed to here, that means in the variable I. So now the value of I is 3, so it will print the value of I, that means 3. So by doing this we will get the value from 1 to 10. Okay, because the last or the final value is 10 here. So every time it will increment, the value of I will be incremented and printed. Okay, got it? Go to the next. Now we will learn about for next with step. By default in the for loop, that means by default in the for next loop, the next statement increments the value of the counter variable by 1, but you can use the step statement to increase or decrease as per your choice. Okay, so the syntax is very simple. For I equal to initial value IV, that means initial value, then 2, and then final value FB, and then write here STEP, step, that may be incremented or decremented. Okay, then the executable statements, here you have to write all the statements, and then at last it will be next I. Okay, the step value here we are using for next statement, either positive or negative. If you want the counter variable to decrease the value each time by 1, then set the step value as -1. Okay, so we are taking one simple example. Okay, suppose I am writing one example that is program to print the numbers 1 to 15 in reverse order. Okay, so how to write the order reverse word? Okay, so we have to print the numbers 1 to 15 in reverse order. That means we have to start from 15 and we will go for 14, 13, 12 up to 1, like that way. Okay, that means every time we are decrementing the value of the variable by 1. Okay, so the step will be -1. Very easy. So we can write for this program, that is for a we can use any variable I, a, b or anything. We know a is 15 because the starting value is 15. Then we have to write 2 means the last value. Here the last value is 1. So for a equal to 15 to 1, and write the step. The step here is STEP. Step here is -1, as it decreasing by 1, -1. Then print the value of variable, that is here a. So it is print a, and at last next a. Next a means the next value of a. Okay, got it? So the first time when a equal to 15, it comes to the line print a. So here it is print a. Now the step is -1. So the for statement will first assign the value 15 to a. Then print a statement will be executed till it reaches the end value of a, that is 1. The value of a gets decremented by 1 each time the loop is executed, as the step value is -1. Thus the number from 15 to 1 will get printed in reverse order, like that way. Okay, now we are learning about the do loop. Do loop here. The do loop repeats the statements depending upon the condition placed either after do, that means at the entry, or after loop at the exit. So at first we will learn about the do while loop. The do while loop repeats as long as the condition holds true. Okay, this loop is used when a condition is to be tested first, and if the condition is true, only then the statements in the body of the loop will be executed. Okay, so here is the syntax: do while and then test condition, and write all the executable statements here, and last it is loop. Okay, so what are the structure of a do while loop? The structure of do while loop is very simple. It begins with a do while statement, that is do while statement. This statement is used to define the condition that is to be checked. Okay, this structure will end with a loop statement. The loop statement is used to signal the end of the loop, also returns the control back to the do while statement to check if the condition continues to be true or not. And lastly, it terminates the loop when the test condition becomes false. Okay, now the statements that are to be repeatedly executed are written between do while and loop statements. That means they are executable statements, and thus constitute the body of the loop. The statements in the body of the loop are executed repeatedly while the test condition is true. Okay, when the loop is being executed, one of the statements should set the test condition to false to terminate the loop. If it remains true, it will repeatedly execute the statements, and the loop is then called an infinite loop. Okay, so you have to set the condition properly. The do while loop is an entry control loop, that is, there is a check or control over the entry in the loop. If the condition is true, only then the loop is executed, otherwise not. Okay, so we will start with a simple example. The program is to print star 5 times. Okay, to print the star 5 times. If we want to print the star 5 times, means we have to print the stars in 4 rows. So we know the structure of do while loop. So the do while loop is, okay, so for do while loop, at first we have to write the start value of the variable. Okay, so at first we have to write that n equal to 1, because it starts from 1. Okay, so we are writing n equal to do while n less than equal to 5. Okay, we are starting from 1 and we will go for 5. Okay, then print star. After that it will n equal to n plus 1, and at last it is loop. Okay, so we are writing n equal to 1, that means we are putting the start value to the variable first, then we are starting do while loop. Next line, the second line, do while loop n less than equal to 5. First test the condition n less than equal to 5. If it is true, that is, if n is less than or equal to 5, then the statement print star is executed. Okay, the next statement increments the value of n by 1. Okay, at first when n equal to 1, the condition is true, as 1 is less than equal to 5, so it will print the asterisk on the screen first. Okay, and now when n becomes 2, once it reaches the loop statement, it again tests the condition n less than equal to 5. If the condition is true, it repeats the loop execution, otherwise terminates it. When n becomes 6, then do while loop checks the condition 6 less than equal to 5. No, it is not true. That means it becomes false as 6 greater than 5. So the loop execution is terminated here. Okay, go to the next program. So we are taking another program to give you the better understanding. Suppose we are trying to write, that means we are trying to print all even numbers from 0 to 20. So whenever we are trying to write the program to print all even numbers, that means we have to start from the 0, and it will incremented by 2 every time. Okay, so if we do it, the last number will be 20. Got it? So if you try to write this program using do while loop, so we have to start first n, that means we have to first take the variable and we have to put the first value in this variable, so it is n equal to 0. Now do while n, the check condition is the last number should be 20. Okay, that means the number should not be greater than 20, so we have to put the condition n less than equal to 20. Okay, and then print n then n equal to n plus 2 and then loop. Okay, got it? So that means the first value of n is 0 here. Okay, and then put the condition. The condition is the value of n should be less than equal to 20 because the last value is 20. Now next line is print n. So every time you have to print the value of n. Then this is the increment part. The value is incremented by 2 every times. So you have to put n equal to n plus 2. Okay, after printing the value of n. Got it? Go to the next program. Now we are having this program. This program is to print the sum of all even numbers between 0 and 10. That means we have to first collect the numbers. So now the next loop is do loop while. This loop is a variation of the do while loop. This loop also repeats as long as the condition is true. In the do loop while, the loop body is executed first before checking the condition, and if the condition evaluates to be true, then it repeats the execution of the loop body. Okay, so here is the syntax. It begins with a do statement. Okay, it ends with a loop while text condition statement. The loop while statement is used to signal the end of the loop and also check for the condition, and if it is true, the control is transferred to the do statement. Okay, and lastly, the statements that are to be repeatedly executed are written in between the do and loop while statement. That means executable statements are here. Okay, so the do loop while is an exit controlled loop. That is, there is a check or control on the exit of the loop. The computer will execute the statements written between the do and loop while statements at least once and then check for the test condition. If the condition is true, only then it will move again to do and further execute the statements following do. Okay, so do loop while is an exit control loop, and do while loop is entry control loop, as there is a check or control over the entry in the loop. Okay, the last loop is while w loop. The while w loop is functionally equivalent to do while loop because it is also an entry control loop where the test condition is checked first before entering into the loop. Okay, it begins with a while statement. Okay, this statement is used to define the condition that is to be checked. It ends with w-end statement. Okay, and w-end statement is used to signal the end of the loop and returns the control back to the while statement to check if the condition continues to be true or not. Okay, and the statements that are to be executed repeatedly are written between the w while statement and w-end statements. That means these are the executable statements here. Okay, so if we try to understand with a simple example, that is x, suppose we are writing x is equal to 5 while x greater than equal to 1, print x equal to x minus 1 w end. Okay, so what will be the output of this result? We are taking x is equal to 5. Okay, now checking while x greater than 1. Yes, 5 greater than 1 because the value of x here 5. So print x. That means if the condition is satisfied, then print the value of x variable. So it will print 5 here. Then the next line is x is equal to x minus 1. So now in this, at this line the value of x is 5, and if you execute this line, that is x is equal to x minus 1, that means now the value of x is decremented by 1, that means the value of x is now 5 minus 1, that is 4. Okay, so now again it will throw the value here. Now it will check x greater than 1 or not. Again the value of x is now 4 here, so value of x is greater than equal to 1, so again it will print the value of 4, and again it will decremented the value by 1, and again it will give the value of x equal to 3, and it will check here again. By doing this repeatedly, it will have the value 5 to 1 on the output screen. Okay. Now the last part is nesting of loops. Okay, so there are situations which require one loop to be placed within another loop. This is called nesting of loops. When a loop is present inside another loop, it is called a nested loop. In a nested loop, the inner loop must end before the outer loop. Okay, so we will be learning about nested for next loop. Suppose I am writing one nested for loop. Suppose for I equal to 1, 2, 4, and again for j equal to 1 to 2, print I comma j, next j, and next I. So what will print it? What it will print on the output screen? That is 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so a for next loop can be placed within another for next loop. Okay, so here each loop must have a different counter variable. Here the counter variables are, one is I, another one is j. Okay, the next of the inner loop must appear before the next of the outer loop. So here we are writing the next statement for j first. Okay, then the next statement for I. Okay, so in this program it is the inner loop and it is the outer loop. Okay, so here when I equal to 1, j gets the value 1. Okay, and the values of I and j, that is 1 and 1 are displayed. Okay, got it? Because print I comma j, so the value of I and j will be printed. So that is 1 and 2. Okay, are displayed. The nested loop continues in this way for I equal to 2, 3 and 4. The output of this program will be similar to this figure. Okay, so here at first the value of I equal to 1. So for I equal to 1, it will execute for j equal to 1 to 2. Thank you very much.